Hello, unique awesome people. How's it going? I am about to embark on a grand adventure. It's been a while, so I thought I'd give you guys the update before I begin my wild journey across Canada. I've never really done that before. I am not overly familiar with what I'm going to experience once I pass Northern Ontario all the way up until I get to Victoria, BC. I'm going to chase my dream. I'm going to go and try to avail of some transport truck driving training on a manual truck, which I cannot find in Newfoundland, unfortunately. A lot of people have been helpful in telling me that I should use my class 1 to go and get some experience on a dump truck or shunt driving. But I'm being a stubborn stripper because I have that luxury. I have multiple careers. So I'm looking to get some training on a manual and then get back here and be able to pass a manual road test for the carriers who are not locally offering any training. Wasn't able to secure employment, but I do have a friend who's willing to take me out until I can gain my confidence, which is absolutely amazing. So I am maybe headed to a city near you if you're in Canada. I'll be posting as often as I can on my personal social medias, Chelsea Tara or at Holistic Stripper Chef. You can find out that information. I wanted to talk about where our taste comes from, because we all have our own sexual, romantic, social, emotional appetites, and they don't come from birth. They're developed over the years with our relationships. I watched a very funny TikTok video, and I really want to play it here right now, but I know there's going to be some copyright problem down the road, and it's going to screw me over if I ever figure out how to get 1,000 followers so that I can try to get monetized, so that I can do affiliate marketing, which would be cool. I'd really like to do that. I never knew what that meant. Been slowly learning what that means. So I'm not going to play her clip here. I'm just looking at it, and I'm trying to remember everything she said. It's basically this really funny joke about how she's oh, new relationships are so awkward. You have to pretend that you just suddenly, randomly, magically thought of these new wild sexual things that you want, and it's because the partner you have right now is the one inspiring you to. You can never just be no, let's just call him. He can tell you how I really like it. Anyway, she did a far better job of making the joke than I'm going to be able to do here right now, because I don't have a very good memory, so I can't really recite lines well, or probably would have broke into film by now. So anyways, I just love that idea. I think it's really helpful for people who are new to non-monogamous relationships, who want to, try to understand what the hell I'm talking about, and why polyamory makes any sense, and basically defend themselves with traditional perspective and core values. It's how can you not appreciate the people who were in your loved one's life before you were? I mean, they were a core element of that person developing who they are, right? I mean, how many times have you been in a relationship where you've been apprehensive to expose something that you like or want, or therefore are feeling you're lacking of in a traditional monogamous relationship, where you're worried they're gonna be how do you know how to do that? Or have you been somebody who has been lusted for because you have some unique skill that someone else taught you? So I feel this subject in itself is just a fun conversation, because it helps kind of pull the wool off the eyes of people who are just oh, I never want to hear about your previous lovers. I don't want to know anything about that. They paint this impression of who you are to them through their eyes, in their mind. And they're for the most part in denial about who you really are. And I think a lot of men and women both go through very disappointing relationships with people who sort of masquerade to be what you want, because they want to be with you so much, they just want to be what you want, rather than being themselves or recognizing who you really are. There's a lot of fraudulent connection going on, and I think that's at the core root of a lot of problems for people, and lack of success in love and relationships. So I love the idea that figure out how to chip away at the awkward, uncomfortable moments where you can say oh my god, actually I really like when you squeeze my butt. You get a good grip, you squeeze it really hard, and then you just shake it. It's kind of like boobs. So where did I learn that? How do I know that I like that? Well, somebody other than you taught me, and I think it's spectacular. So if you don't mind, I would love for you to implement this new skill. Now you can take it with you. You can impress other people with it. Maybe they won't like it. Be careful. Everyone's different. but I definitely like it. It'd be quite lovely for you to implement that right now. I've never had the conversation before at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm not going to dive into more specifics right now. I'm sure they'll be very unique to you and or your lover. It's a fun conversation. Sit down, get comfortable, feel cozy, and just talk to each other. Open up about things that you've been reluctant to share or ask for or expose. Feel this feeling of you have to pretend to be somebody you're not, or like, you know, give your potential loved ones like baby bites of who you really are so that like they can handle who you are. Like that doesn't work very good. You're probably not going to be very compatible. Don't play games with people when you first meet them, let them know who you are. Like be vulnerable. Like open up. I know there's people out there who prefer a little mystery and they prefer to sort of like find out gradually all about you, and I appreciate that perspective. I've never really understood it, but hey, we're all different. I love the diversity of all of us. But like at the same time, when you're holding back who you are for a really long time, like how real can the connection really be? Like if your intention is to have a long term, you may want to avoid that attitude because it could sell you short and leave you in a situation where like you guys aren't very ideal together because, you know, maybe you really like feet and maybe you are never going to take your socks off. So yeah, just try to start training your brain like any other skill. You know, the first time you skip rope, you're not gonna be very good at it. You keep doing it, eventually you'll get very good at it. So it's not a matter of like, oh, I can't do that. It's a matter of I won't do that. So try to embrace starting to practice the idea of being able to not only say what you want and, you know, how and when you'd like to have what you need, but like maybe have the conversation about where it came from. Like maybe you'll find out that someone you love that you dated is actually related to someone else that person loved and dated, and there's a crazy mutual connection, and finding that out actually like isn't the worst thing in the world. Maybe your social networks will end up binding you and bringing you guys closer. Like obviously that's what I'm looking for. I've made videos about kitchen table poly. I love the idea that like even if you're not in a sexual relationship with somebody, maybe you have an emotional romantic kind of flow with that person, but like maybe you're not all actually direct lovers and sharing a bed per se, but like maybe you all share one domain space that you're living and share meals together and are very much in a relationship. There's so many different dynamics available to you, and I do believe that opening up and having the conversation about like who the people are who helped create you into the person that you are today, being able to share those kinds of conversations, I believe are at the core root of success for being able to eventually get into a space where you're creating, you know, the ability for kitchen table poly or group relationships and things like that. So if that's not something you're interested in, you're probably going to just think I'm crazy, but give it a thought because as I've said in other videos, making ourselves uncomfortable, taking ourselves out of our comfort zone, challenging our minds, rewiring the way that we think, challenging our loved ones, having raw, open conversations truly do bring us closer after the initial, ouch, oh, that was a bruise, oh, that was a burn, that didn't feel so good. Eventually, like the strength actually rebuilds stronger. And I really believe that, you know, that's for anyone out there in any relationship structure at all. So if you have ever experienced a situation like this, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. If you want to help support this channel so that I reach a broader audience, so that eventually I don't have to say things like, please click the bell so you don't miss notifications. Like notifications are annoying, but YouTube is requiring that you do that in order for the algorithm to decide I'm important to people who have yet to find me. And like and subscribe. And my name is Chelsea Tara. And I don't know exactly where I'm going next. I'm starting off in the Hamilton, Ontario area, which is where I have some family. I'm going to go and visit my grandmother, who's 92 years old. I might actually have a sidekick. I don't know if she's coming or not. She just reached out. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I probably shouldn't say anything just in case she doesn't come. But like, potentially there's going to be a lot of shenanigans, and hopefully she feels like being on this channel. I'll get back to you soon. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.